Hey, family. I'm trying to get used to like turning more to the camera. So yeah, I may make a few adjustments, y'all. But let's get into it. In law, there are subsidiaries within argument structures called logical fallacies. Now, these are basically flawed arguments, point of views, or societal standards, right? And within these fallacies, it can be a range of strategies used to paint these skewed point of views, standards, and namely cancel culture. The logical fallacy that will be parallel to cancel culture, I'm saying, is appeal to authority, underdog syndrome, and the equivalent to underdog syndrome would be appeal to popularity, and actions, motives rooted in bias. And that would be equivalent to a hasty generalization. All things we do, varying from person to person, and frequency of such behavior. Meaning how often and how open or not we are to these behaviors or recognizing these behaviors in our day-to-day, right? That is key. Because you know what they say, if you've been sitting in
Shit.
for a long time, after a while, you become immune to the smell. This is Just Forget About It, episode 28. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. So, if we are being honest, we have all played the role of the silly rabbit. We have. We all have. I have. You have. Anyone watching this, we have. In our lives, by the actions we have decided on. It's the repeating of these actions, behaviors, skewed point of views that I'll be taking a closer look at today. That I like for you guys to take a closer look at after today too. So for the first examination of how we all play a part in the silly rabbit activity or contributing to the devil's cheer is cancel culture, which would be equivalent to appeal to authority. Now, that fallacy within law is quite like what it sounds like. It's when we assume something is true because an authoritative figure says it is. Now, it can be directly or indirectly practiced. So, you ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie, Felicia. We all have done it. Okay? We've all have followed the influence of the masses, usually infiltrated through a powerful figure, usually infiltrated through a powerful figure or entity that says this is the way we should feel because XYZ. So we follow it because we assume it must be true. But here's the penny for your thoughts. If spreading things that don't serve us effectively or efficiently is this easy, how much more powerful could or would it be if we stepped in a new direction and actually did our due diligence to come to conclusions based off of the sum of our experiences and what we want for our futures? Think about it. I think this may change how fast we may be in following things without proper considerations, meaning proper research, proper thought process. You heard someone say this, and that. They're in the same industry, so it must be true. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We always have the right to choose the truths that fit in our world or lack thereof. Always. Always remember that. Now, for my second point of interest in the silly rabbit tricks we all play in this episode 28 of Just Forget About It, would be our participation in the underdog syndrome or the appeal to popularity. In this law, or in this fallacy, this logical fallacy within law, it consists of elements quite like appeal to authority. But the only thing that changes in this instance would be the last word. So opposed to appealing to authority, the last word is popularity. So defined, appeal to popularity is assuming something is true because many people believe it to be true. I know this firsthand with this right here, nigga, this right here. With JFAD. I can say I have been experiencing this. Views and the likes and the engagement don't always add up. Don't always add up. But this journey I'm on is bigger than me. So the show must go on. But this is another thought that I like for you guys to put into practice when exercising appeal to a popularity. And I like for us to hold ourselves accountable in knowing we all start somewhere, right? And we don't always have a head start in the game. So my question is, why is it that a lot of us will dismiss or be hesitant to embrace people that may not be widely known, even if we see their light or projected potential and purpose? It's the weirdest thing in society, and something I experience often. People requesting you, then following you, and then they see that you may not have a big following, or I'm not even sure because I don't really, consider it past silliness, but they'll see that people will follow you, see you may not have a wide audience, and then will unfollow you once they see you're not the people's fave or your numbers ain't matching up with your confidence. But we pride ourselves in knowing about people before they get big, or knowing about people before they make it, or wanting to have these stories once people make it to the other side. I've partaked in this, but now experiencing it, like really experiencing it, it's like we say things like quality over quantity, yet we follow the influence of others that tell us they are important by the numbers they bring in or by. Why is that? Just something to think about, because y'all know this is just a forget about it, and that's what we do here. And we evaluate, and you find yourself doing this. I also do this, And I think it comes from a place of insecurity rooted in an illusion of control. Control and feeling that if I can assert power or control over the individuals I in society deem insignificant because their lack of numbers, then I have control and I matter in life. Because that's really what the gesture is. If we're going to call a spade a spade. And this just simply isn't the truth, guys. We know it's been proven time and time again that that's not a one case fits all circumstance. And another form, again, of flawed thinking and reasoning. And it is also interwoven into my last silly rabbit logical fallacy placement. And this would be actions or motives rooted in bias, or in law, what they call hasty generalizations. So this law fallacy is to make a general statement without sufficient evidence. Now, we absolutely all, as a society, partake in this. Example statements and behaviors of this would be, all men cheat. Or, there's always a line or a lot of people in Dollar Tree. Or, all black women are angry. This is a widely practiced yet detrimental thing we do in society. But again, we scream that we should have rights to individuality and benefit of the doubt. But how is this expected if we don't extend this to others on a consecutive and consistent basis? Even if what we are generalizing happens more often than not, it is incorrect to hastily typecast others, situations, or circumstances based on past experiences alone and what they appear, keyword being appear, to be similar in nature to painful experiences. Precisely. We owe it to ourselves to not only see these things through until we are able to properly assess, or better yet, the situation is able to properly assess itself and go into its rightful place. We have to understand we are only in charge of how we respond and allow it to shape or dictate how we feel and behave. All these things require conscious efforts that may need fine-tuning on a day-to-day, but I believe with the proper level of honesty with ourselves, we can make this positive switch to live a lighter and more secure life. A life where we can find comfort in our own skin outside of the expense of demising another or lessening another. That sound good even coming out. Like, even me saying it, me speaking those words sounds so good, y'all. Like, let's create that within our lives, and then it'll become a standard in the world that we inhabit. So until next time, JFat, ow!